Good evening, Simon here, Explosive Action, and we are back for a black and death metal vinyl LP update. We've got 10 to look at, so let's get into it. And in the background, we are listening to, finally, the debut album from Unconsecrated. These guys are out of Spain. Came out in 2021. This is just old school, nasty death metal. These guys have been around since about 2006. Have done a bunch of demos, bunch of EPs, released a lot of stuff as compilation CDs, which is what I've got. But this is their first actual full-length album, and it's just a meat and potatoes, nasty. Listen to that guitar tone. It's like old Hypocrisy sound or something. You know, all of your Swedish bands, all that kind of thing, but they're from Spain. It's got a bit of a Spanish flair to it. It's very necrotic. Look at that filthy cover. Really good stuff. Unconsecrated, Reveal of the Dead. Speaking of the dead, Undeath. It's time to rise from the grave. Look at that wonderful cover artwork. Man, in 2020 we had Lesions of a Different Kind. That was the debut album from this band. Before that we had 2 demo tapes, which are really good. One of those bands I was able to get in the ground floor of. I got both those demo tapes and the first album. Now finally I have this album from 2022. It's time to rise from the grave. This one really kind of knocks out of the park the previous album. The guys have just improved at what they do, which is exactly what you want for a follow-up album. Like, sure, yeah, okay, these guys play 80% Cannibal Corpse, 10% Bolt Thrower, and then 10% Bill Steer, like Heartwork era guitar solos, but they just do it so well. Like, it's just what I came here for. It's nice, necrotic, and deadly, ugly zombie death metal. It's good. Unlike Cannibal Corpse, they don't really go full throttle. Blasting speeds only every now and then. This is mainly thick, mid, to faster paced, heavy, always sort of in the groove. Very much got a groove to it. Definitely like a mix between Eaten Back to Life, first album, Corpse, and like Gallery of Suicide, something like that. Not so much things like Tomb of the Mutilated. It sort of skips past that stuff. First album with Corpse at the beginning, and then early Corpse Grinder Corpse, I think, is sort of what you get. But there's more to it as well. Like I said, it's got the Heartwork style leads, quite a lot of Bill Steer going on those lead guitars for sure. It's very memorable riffs in these songs. I really like that. It's all centered around a head nodding core riffy groove. Like it's just really good head banging death metal. There's not so much you can say about this kind of stuff. It's not trying to reinvent anything. It's just really solid. I'm really enjoying this one. There's as much groove on here as there are variants of this LP. I think I looked it up. There's something like 9, maybe 10 different versions of this album, which is just pushing it. Like, the last time I saw something like that was some of those Immortal reissues from a couple of years ago, where you had like Blizzard Beasts in a color spectrum that made absolutely no sense. Anyway, I'm going off topic. This thing, take a look inside. I really like the one I've got, but pretty unnecessary. It's a clear green thing. Take it out of the sleeve. See it a bit better. So it's clear and it's green. It's cool, but man, how many variations do you need? And it was kind of challenging to get. Prosthetic records, I don't know. Distribution outside of Oz, outside of America, maybe not as good as some other labels. $20 spin. I've got about 5 places I can choose from locally. Prosthetic records, a bit harder. And I also got to say, they go to all the effort of making 9, maybe 10 color variants, and then they put the record in a paper sleeve with no polymer insert. It's just paper. I went to try and take it out, and I could see the abrasions happening. So I just cut the bloody thing out, got the scissors, and just cut the sleeve out, threw it in the bin. Spend the extra 10 cents, please, when you're doing this kind of record, and put it in a poly sleeve. It just makes everyone else's life easier. I don't have to get one out of storage, one of my spares. But anyway, whatever. That's Prosthetics' problem. It's not Undeath's problem. This is a solid album. It's really good. As I said, it's not going to reinvent any wheels, but it's not why I came here. It's time to rise from the grave. The next one, I was super excited that it was finally going to actually happen. These guys have been kicking around for a while. They have only done a couple of EPs/demos, and they announced this full length at the same time they announced that they were going to break up. Their debut is their last album, but man, it's a stonking great time. This one, Cadaveric Fumes, Echoing Chambers of Soul. Look at that cover. Wonderful painting there. I'm not too sure who did that, but it's really, really nice. Kind of reminds me of like a, how do you say it, the Unersprichtian Colton, whatever that band is. They do artwork similar to this. Similar kind of music too, actually, now that I think about it. But anyway, I digress for a bit there. What a way for this band to go out. Okay, this is really crushing. Pretty inventive, morbid, Cthulhu-y death metal. Out of France, these guys. If you've not heard them, think, Cathelist, Blood Incantation, it's in that world. A little bit of Time Ghoul, all that kind of stuff. And I think, now I'm thinking about it, the Unersprichten Kulten. I'm sure I'm butchering that name. But, that's not my fault. They have a silly name. I'm in a bit of a mood today. Cadaveric Fumes. They had a series of EPs and splits over the years. They put it into a nice compilation CD that had pretty much everything. So that's the CD I've got. It's called the Forsaken Triptych, which is a nice overview of pretty much everything the band's done. But this is their actual full-length album. And man, it shows the progression. Echoing Chambers of Soul is a band putting their best and last foot forward. I wonder if they knew when they were putting this together that they were going to break up. Because they were certainly saying before it was released that, this is it, we're gone, see ya. So I wonder if they knew that when they were writing. I don't really know. Who knows? This is just really well-structured, memorable songs. Very otherworldly feel, of course, that Cthulhu kind of stuff always does. Oh, the leads on this, there's some pretty strange sounding leads on this. I really, really enjoyed those. Very thick, heavy drums and bass guitar. It's got a nice sound to it. Tracks, they kind of vary from like a somber, sparse, cosmic ambience to a cacophony of sound. Like, it goes from both ends of that spectrum. It's an album you want to listen to as an album. Absolutely, like it's not a pick a hit single kind of thing. Not a chance. This is a put it on and enjoy. There's not much going on in the back here. So Blood Harvest did this thing. The version I got, I'll pull it out. Kind of a transparenty, murky, slimy green, which is really nice. Take a look inside here as well. You got a lyric sheet, thanks list. Blood Harvest do these Obi strip things with a Bandcamp code on the other side, which is nice. And I think this is a poster. Yeah, it's a poster. I don't want to take that one out. But yeah, really good album, this one. Echoing Chambers of Soul. So, I'm sad that they're calling it a day because I could see another album being even another improvement on top of this, but I'm happy they're going out on top. So yeah, definitely a top 10 contender for me this year. Cadaveric Fumes, Echoing Chamber of Soul. Next one's an EP. This is a new band, very much a new band. This is Phenocryst with Explosions, and look at that explosion. Like volcanic lava eruption. I love that artwork, it's absolutely amazing. I rarely do this, but I bought this because of the cover art and that logo. And the fact it was Blood Harvest. Like, I just looked at it and went, look, this art, that kind of logo in top left, font down the bottom right, this is going to be good. I know it's going to be good. I knew it was going to, and it was. This is really, really good stuff. I bought it because I was already buying the Cadaveric Fumes, local distro, Total War. I've talked about them before. Queensland Mob. They just exist on Facebook. Just for Aussie buyers. It's really, really handy to have. And they do bulk orders from lots of labels, Blood Harvest being one of them. They got in the Cadaveric Fumes, dropped this at the same time. I went, may as well make the postage worthwhile. Chucked on some Phenocryst. Not disappointed. Not disappointed. A 5-track EP. It's 45 RPM, so it sounds really good. Booming cosmic death metal. Oh, I love that sentence because that stuff is always good. It's exactly the kind of stuff I love hearing. Monstrous sounding release. This is big, just immense sounding EP for a debut. I don't think there's any demos or anything. I looked them up on the Oracle. Just this is it. I don't recognize the band members from anything else. It was just Fennecrist. So not sure where these guys came from, but yeah, it kind of reminds me a bit of like early Bolzer EPs, like the Aura and the Soma EPs, but darker, doomier, way more, dare I say it, cavernous. Oof. Yeah, like Grave Miasma, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think Grave Miasma is not a bad comparison. You like that, but some of that little wackiness that Bolzer were doing on the EPs, kind of where we're going with Fennecrist and Explosions here. So 5 tracks, 2 and then a 3. You know, it goes in at 23 minutes. There's not much else I can say about it. It's just really good. Really good, dark, thick death metal. Take a look inside here. All the bits and bobs. I got a nice orange one. Came on orange and black. Total War got 1 on orange, and I was very quick off the trigger to pick that one up. Happy with that. Looks good. I'm not too fussed about color variants, I'll say that. But, you know, when you have orange and orange, if the option's there and the price is the same, of course I'm going for it. I'm quite happy with black though. There's the lyrics and more artwork. So yeah, I don't know who this Fennecrist band are, much about them anyway, and there's the guys there, but based on what I've got here, looking forward to a debut full length at some point in the future. Fennecrist Explosions, really good. Next one we've got here, again debut full length. This is from Carnal, or is it Charnel? I think it's Carnal Altar, Abatement of the Sun. The sun is definitely abated on this, let me tell you that. My god, there is no light in this album. This light here, you see, that's it, that's all you're getting. This is the, you know, like trying to find your keys to get you in the front door at 3 a.m. and you're fumbling through your wallet and there's no lights. That's how dark this is. That is the darkness you've got here, the drunken, I don't know how to get in my own house darkness. That's what this is. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, after a night of the tins, you're going to put this thing on, of course. Filthy Blackened Funeral Doom Metal. This is a, you know, fellow... They're Aussie band. Did I mention that? They're Aussie band. From old Radelaide, out in Adelaide, South Australia. Fellow band Disembowelment, of course. You've got to have that comparison. Pretty obvious for the Funeral Doom parts. But I'm also hearing things like Temple Nightside for the blackened parts, and the whole thing has, you know, for an international band reference, I'd say, you know, Justin Stubbs and Coffin Nation definitely got a bit of that feeling going on here, quite a lot of that feeling. But yeah, there's also a lot of dissonant Portal style riffs. This is definitely one of those ones where you are looking for a dreadful atmosphere rather than intricate guitar leads and noodling. That's not the kind of thing here. This is not something I would say is a riff-heavy death metal. All the instruments, the vocals, everything is just making a nasty, thick, dirty atmosphere. Evil, foreboding atmosphere is what you get on this one. There's the back of it there. So yeah, first full length on Blood Harvest. The band had a solid 2019 demo, which is really good. I got the tape of that one, and then it is split with another local band, Melbourne guys called Carcinoid, who are more of a traditional death metal band. That was a really good split. Each thing they do is better and better, and this thing is, of course, their best yet. Debut album. If you like that, like I mentioned, that crushing Funeral Doom sound, but you want it a bit more blackened, a little bit more raw, Carnal, Altar are really going to give you what you want, I'm pretty sure. And I love the artwork again on this one. Not too sure who did it. Should be looking these things up, shouldn't I? But anyway, as I said, out of Adelaide, South Australia, so I'm not sure if the guys are involved in anything else. I couldn't see anything else that they were involved with, top of my first lookings, but take a look inside. Get the, whoops, dropping cards everywhere. There's the ominous looking band photo. Not giving much away there. Some more band photos and some lyrics. Man, look at this guy, I got a ninja down here. That's outstanding. Full-on ninja. And the record, the LP itself, is just a grey splatter with yellow sort of sparks or something, which goes with the album cover quite nicely. So yeah, very good. As I said, the debut album from Carnal Altar, Abatement of the Sun. If you like that disembowelment, that more blackened stuff I was talking about, certainly give it a go. Got some more Australian death metal here. Local bands represent. This is Cryptivore, Celestial Extinction. Bathe in this artwork. Bathe in it. Isn't that glorious? Absolutely outstanding. And I'm fully aware that most people watching this channel will probably not know who this band is. They're a little band out of Queensland. It is a one-man band. Did one demo 3 years ago, I think. It's a solo project. A guy called Chris Anning has become a mate of mine. And yeah, he has been working very hard on this thing and has finally released it. Came out, I think it was last month, maybe the month before. Very recently. The CDs are also just coming out now, but the LPs were first out. He also did a death grind band he's in called Bone Marrow, which is a bit more carcassy death grind stuff. But this is a mix of all of Chris's favourite band sounds of death metal. So the first 3 Dismember albums, first couple of Amorphous, Necroticism and Heartwork era, Carcass, all of that. Cryptivore, heavy as balls guitar tone on this thing. I don't know how he's done it. He's done a magnificent job to get a thick and nasty but precise, like it's razor stuff, like razor wire. What I really like about this album and his band is his vocals. So his vocals are up there, or shall I say down there, with how do I pronounce it, Tomi Koivasari, guy out of Amorphous back in the Tales era and the Corellian Isthmus era. He's doing a dead set good impression of that. Man, so good. Have a look on the back here. More artwork, some song titles. It's like I said, it's one-man band. He's gone for the drum machine sound, but you really can't tell. You really can't tell that it's a drum machine. And he did tell me that what he did was record the samples for each part of the drum and then program it. So because it's a very clean, precise production on the entire album. Like, it's not murky death metal. It's a bit like this Unconsecrated going on the background. Like, everything's got its place. Because of that modern sounding death metal sound, but of the early 90s type of bands, the drum machine sounds really legit. So very impressive there. Very authentic sounding. So this whole thing is just big on riffs. Unlike the Carnal DSC, which was about atmosphere, this is a riff album. Chris is a guitarist. That's what he does. He's made a guitar album. Solid, very memorable stuff. Very infectious. Like the grooves on this thing. Like, he goes from, all between the fast and the slow, hits the really thick, that Amorphous, Corellian and Tales, where it slows down, that Finnish stuff. There's a lot. I reckon it's probably a 60-40 split between Finnish and Sweden. That would be my sort of judgment anyway. So yeah, it's got a great sound to it. A good comparison, actually, when I was thinking about this, like, what's another modern band doing a similar kind of thing to this that's not bogging it down into HM2? I thought of Marty Worm's Glorious Dead. If you like that band, you might very much like Cryptivore. They're different kinds of things, but I think it's in that same realm. And there's also that Gorefest connection. Glorious Dead, Marty's a big fan of Gorefest False. I know Chris is a big fan of Gorefest False, and that is in this sound as well. So there you go. I think Cryptivore and Celestial Extinction is going to find its place. Hopefully internationally sometime soon, if it's not starting to already. This is way better than his 2017 demo. That was a bit more death grindy. He's just refined it and just made a stonkingly good death metal album. Mark G with a C. This has got your name all over it. I know what you like. You would like this. Guaranteed. Just go order it. But this cover artwork here I was talking about, I did note this one now. This is from a guy called Mark Cooper. And he's obviously going for his version of the Dan Seagrave here. Like, it's that, it does feel like this could be another artist doing a you know, like an ever-flowing stream or left-hand path or something like that. I think that's what it's going for, and it's great. I love the hand-drawn, the hand-painted. Like, the closer you get to this, it does look like it does feel like you're looking at a canvas. So yeah, it's really nice artwork. The CD's out on Awakening Records, which is a really big deal. So yeah, congrats to Chris for getting an album out. Really, really good stuff. Cryptobore Celestial Extinction. We'll take a look inside. It's on Bitter Loss Records. They're a Perth, that's Western Australia-based record label, who I think are getting international distribution. So yeah, this should show up somewhere. Nice splatter. Blue and green matches the cover artwork very nicely. There's more artwork. Lyrics. It's just a really nice release overall. Anything else in there? Nope, that's your lot. So there you go. Cryptobore Celestial Extinction. If you like death metal, full stop, give it a go. Time to switch gears. We've done the death metal. We're done. We're moving into black metal. Taking a look at this one is, and it's not pronounced Walknut. It is pronounced Valknut. Valknut. Anyway, Grave Forests and Their Shadows. The Valknut, if you're wondering, is this thing here. It's a symbol. It's an old, I guess it's the Viking Age. Yeah, it's a rune kind of thing, and they've used it quite cleverly to go into the W of Valknut. So, anyway, this is such a majestic, atmospheric black metal album. Valknut is a two-piece, well, were a two-piece band out of Russia. Released this album in 2007 on CD and on LP. I bought that CD when it came out. I actually found it in my old emails when I purchased the CD from an Australian shop. Had it all in my emails from 2007. I don't delete anything. I got emails from the late 90s. Anyway, so when this came up as an option to buy an LP, oh man, I was going to jump on it. This thing, it's one of my absolute favourite black metal albums. I don't think it gets talked about as much as it should. Probably happens because it's one of those, one and done things, and it's from the 2000s, not from the 90s, so people don't always think about this kind of thing, but it's definitely an underground cult gem. The people that know, they know. The music is deeply rooted in, first few Burzum, it's obvious, but also bands like Drudg, I don't know how to fucking say that name. Drudkh, you know what I'm saying, Druid. Hey Druid, I'm going to stop. I'm really in a mood today. Anyway, you get on this thing, fingerprints on the back is what you get. You get 3 10-plus minute long atmospheric black metal songs, and then 3 tracks of sort of ambient, musical interlude kind of things as well. So you get 40 or so minutes of music is what you get. The black metal is just hypnotic. Absolutely. You're listening to it, and because it is so repetitive in that Philosophem kind of Burzum, you just go away with it. Like, you don't need to focus on this kind of thing. You just go with it, and it's stellar sounding. It really is stellar. Speaking of stellar, it is on a reissue is on a label called Stellar Winter Records. I didn't intend to make that joint anyway, whatever. Which is some kind of imprint or relation of Azra. Well, they were involved in the issue. Maybe they did the production or something. I'm not entirely sure, but there is some relation there. Nice gatefold. Take a look inside. The version I got is the black. There is a grey marble as well. And there's the lyrics and copyrights and thanks list stuff, so I'll pop that in later. So yeah, there you go. It is, it's a magnificent black metal album. I'm hoping that these reissues, and this is interesting as well because there is a simultaneous reissue that came out in April. I think this came out in March and April. That one's on Eternity Records. Now, I don't know what the go is, but we have 2 competing reissues, one on Stellar Winter, one on Eternity. Metal Archives, the Oracle says that this edition is the one that's been endorsed by the band. I don't know what the other one is. Maybe it was, I don't know if it's a bootleg or anything. I don't know, but there's 2 editions that are right out now. So anyway, there you go. Valknut with Grave Forests and Their Shadows. An excellent album, and hopefully, if you've not heard it, you can get a chance to. The next one is a black metal act out of Finland that just makes me feel cold. Perhaps it's because of the cover and the icy blue logo, or maybe it's because it's winter here in Australia and it's currently about 7 degrees and I'm sitting in a garage. I don't know, it could be the former, could be the latter, I don't know. This is Ymir, it's spelled Y-M-I-R, but I have it on authority that is pronounced Ymir. And this is, like I said, this is frosty sounding black metal. Definitely Horner, Behexen, that kind of stuff were probably the template. Fans of like Vargrav as well, you would definitely get into this thing. Self-titled, it's just called Ymir. Very much riffy guitar. You know, it's riff focused black metal. Has a light layer of keyboards. The drums on this kind of remind me of like Take. You know, they go from like rolling kicks to then blast to just sort of simple metronome kind of beats. It's kind of all over the shop in everything you get from Finnish black metal, which is, I guess, going back to the way I said, the template, the Horner and the Behexen style stuff there, with that modern take that Vargrav, for example, they do. So, you know, it opens with lots of ambient sounds of like crows crowing and wolves howling over icy riffs, and then it just goes along black metal, two sides of it. Really, really impressive album. This is their debut, came out in 2020, so far the only album they've put out. They did demos as far back as 1999. I've not heard anything besides this album. I was getting a bit of hype, so you know, I kept seeing this thing and this squiggly logo and hadn't really heard much about the band, but opportunity came to pick it up. Finally picked it up. Had a couple of reissues. There's the back of the band. It's on Werewolf Records. I know. Anyway, it is what it is. This is a good album. It is on white vinyl. Nice snowy white vinyl. Take a look. It's like white with some, I don't know, smoke or something through it. Probably doesn't come across very well, but there's this sort of browny, blacky smoke stuff in there. Anyway, there's our one-man guy down there, but it's not so much a one-man band. Like, he's the main instrumentalist. What's his name? Did I write it down? His real name is Anssi Mäkinen. Finnish name, of course. That's this guy, but he's got drums and bass on session on this album. But according again to Metal Archives, there is a new album coming, and he has gotten an entire new band, and they're actually part of him now, part of the band. So yeah, Ymir of 2022, whatever else comes out, yeah, could sound different, don't know. I do get the feeling it's a bit of a Windear kind of situation where he's the core songwriter, the core musician, and everyone else is sort of assisting, bringing his music to life. So yeah, hopefully we'll be in good hands with the next album. So anyway, yeah, the new guys are like from other Finnish sort of royalty bands like Black Dawn, Total Self-Hatred, and Oceans, and of course somebody from Horner. I swear every black metal band in Finland has somebody from Horner or was in Horner. It just, everybody gets a shot at playing in Horner over there. But anyway, so yeah, new album coming soon, but for now we have Self-Titled by Ymir, and it's really, really good icy black metal. Next up we've got, awesome cover on this one, Morgul, Nightmare Lord. Look at that. That is so hellish. Wow. It starts with a deceptive sort of bombastic orchestral introduction. It's got strings and brass on that cover, but of course then it quickly gives away to a savage black metal assault that's heavily thrashy, bullet belts, studded armbands, lots of fire. I mean, yeah. You look at, do you know what it sounds like? It sounds like Niflheim. That's what these guys are doing. They're doing that kind of black metal. The kind of stuff where you think on paper it's black thrash, but I would not call this black thrash. I would call it black metal with a touch of thrash. That's what this is. The riffs on this are so utterly precise, and it's got a wonderful, thin, clinical sound to the way that they play the guitars on this. It's very hard to describe, but it's the drums, I can tell you, sound like listening to Absu. Very tight, very snappy, very clean, But the whole thing's, I don't want to say that this make you think that when I'm saying it's clean and it's razor and it's sharp, that it's polished. It's not. It's not polished in any kind of over-produced way. It's just what you want from Niflheim sounding black metal in 2022. Whew, hopefully that makes sense. There's also a little bit of dissection in here, just a little bit, because lots of bands have a bit of dissection in there. But really, this is just pure devastation. I mean, you're up the front at the gig, you're against the railing, you've got a schooner of Cooper's Pale Ale in one hand, and you're just headbanging furiously against that railing for 45 minutes, while these guys are up there with blood and spikes. That's what this is from Morgul. Again, on Werewolf Records, I know. There's the band in a cave. My God. It's like a blasphemy shoot or something. This guy looks like he is in blasphemy. This guy looks like he's in Carpathian Forest. But anyway, there's the back. Again, because you like looking at this guy here. So, I'm obviously recommending this. This is really good quality black metal that's just... It's never slow. It's not that Blitzkrieg Marduk stuff that's always fast. This is always fast, but it is that, Nocturnal Breed or something. Like, it's that black metal that's got thrash in it, and it's just evil. It's Niflheim worship. I'm not going to beat around a bush. Satanic Blitzkrieg with a hellish cover to match. We'll take a look at the inners here. Got to have a thrash collage. Of course you do. Look at that. Corpse paint everywhere, left, right, and centre. Lyrics, pentagram. That's a very old school looking. That looks like something out of a 90s CD cover. Appreciate that. Very good. And the LP. Another splatter. Everyone's doing splatter these days, so it's kind of gold and black. So there you go. And as I said, it's a gatefold. So another look at the band there with their fire. I always love these kind of photos because they're having a whale of a time, and then the photographer says, "Okay, act serious," and then they'll go. And then the photo, he goes, "All right, I'm done," and everyone starts laughing. Like, that's what's happening. Of course it happens. They're having a whale of a time doing this stuff. And then this guy drops his fire stick and they light the beer on fire. Like, that's what's happening. Anyway, Morgul, Nightmare Lord, fantastic stuff. Really, really good. Niflheim-y black metal. Next up, we've got Funeral Storm with Archaic Mysteries. Archaic is the word for sure with this Greek band. This is a 2019 album that harkens back to the early days of Varathron, Rotting Christ, all of the Hellenic classic bands, and it is no surprise at all that they have a Varathron sound to them because they share vocalists with the guy from Varathron. His Majesty has been at many swamps, apparently. It even ends with the Varathron cover. Which one we got here? Have they actually listed it? I don't know which one's which. Not too sure which one the Varathron cover is. But it's on here. And, that should be enough to explain what this is. I mean, if you know Hellenic black metal, you should know exactly what this is going to sound like, but I'll go into a bit more. It's mid-paced, a little intentionally simplistic, I suppose. That's the sort of key thing you get from that style of black metal. Strong bass and keyboard presence, very nice, particularly the bass, because the whole thing's got so much room to breathe. It's not, it's not like that Morgul album we're listening to. It's not like the Ymir, the Ymir. It's not like that kind of black metal. The Greek scene was very different. It grew at the same time as the Norwegian scene, but it went very different places. Funeral Storm go to those same places. It's credited to have a drum machine. It doesn't sound like it, again. Don't really hear it. It's got, some of those bands did have a drum machine sound to them, but I think in this case here, Funeral Storm, you could argue that it wasn't a drum machine, and that it was person going for that sound, if you know what I mean. Anyway, it's good. Whatever is going on here is good. It sounds authentic. I love the repetitive guitar style on this, and the keyboard sound as well, which is really, really nice. Played by, her name is Arcania. She handles the guitars and the keyboards. Those keyboards particularly, they excel on the 4th track, I think it is, Wandering Through the Abyss. I think that was the track, which is a instrumental sort of, I don't want to say dungeon synth. It's just she gets a chance to really use the keyboards. It's actually a bit more dark than dark, and I don't want to say electronic because that'd be wrong. But it doesn't sound like, you know, dungeon castles or anything like that. But it is the instrumental musical piece with keyboards, and I guess that's when the drum machine sounds more mechanical because it's doing simpler beats. Sort of makes more sense, I suppose. But anyway. Yeah, with you know, the Greek style, you don't get the trem picking as much. It's more chuggy, palm muted kind of riffs. That's always present in here. You know, this band started as the brainchild of a guy called Wampirion, as a 1, sometimes 2 piece back in as early as 2002. It wasn't until about 2015 that he got in extra people of the band, brought in Stefan from Varathron to do vocals, started doing EPs and splits like that with other bands. That's when I found out about them. Did a split with, I can't remember the other band, but it was really good. Take a look inside at the actual inside parts of this. LP is a nice colour one again. Blue and green kind of merged, which is very pretty. And we also get a lyric sheet. There's the band photos. So there you go, really cool. And yeah, that's it really. It's a very rewarding album. I listened to it about 3 times since getting it. This is one that if you watch my last sort of thrash and heavy metal OG update, I mentioned I went to a record fair, and that one of those things I picked up was not something I was going to show that update, so I'm showing it here. Going to a record fair within 10 minutes of my house and coming home with this thing was not on my agenda that day. It was a pretty impressive find. This came out on Hell's Headbangers in 2019, like I said, and yeah, it's a really, really fantastic album. I love the Greek scene, and this is just continuing on. It's not even playing homage, it's just continuing on, and they happen to have Varathron's vocalist. So there you go. Archaic Mysteries, an excellent album. Next up, we're getting quite specific with our anti-Christian hatred now. This is Pagan Moon with anti-Mormon propaganda. I can't say I've seen any anti-Mormon specific black metal yet, but here we go. Why not? Solo US black metal band. This is sort of a best of compilation. The full name of it is actually written somewhere here on the spine. 5 years of anti-Mormon propaganda, 2016 to 2021 is the full title of this thing. Dry, raw sounding, Judas Iscariot, of course, influenced solo black metal. But I'm also hearing really nicely things like Abigor's Boaston. There's parts of that in there. It's been clearly listened to as a bit of an influence, I think, on this guy. Especially on that opening track, which is called Feral Spirits Will Triumph. There's old mate there in his best denim jacket. What's patches he got on there? There's a Sodom, there's a Battery, there's a Hellhammer, there's a Satan. Got to have some old school New Wobbum in there. It could be a Blasphemy up there. Anyway, what am I looking at patches for? Should be looking at the album. I really am in a mood today. Is it not that obvious? I just seem to be. It's the temperature, I tell you. Anyway, a real cracking selection of black metal riffs on this. Sometimes one-man black metal bands, very samey and very much, you know, raw bedroom black metal. Not here. This is a guy that knows what he's trying to do here. It's, you know, it's slightly underproduced, but not in a raw black metal kind of way. It's more, he just happens to be making demos of Dark Throne Under a Funeral Moon kind of black metal, so therefore it has got that raw sound to it. Necro sounding stuff. There's a layer of keys throughout a lot of it, but not always. Because the demo tracks are from, you know, a 5-year period, it does sort of vary a little bit. Some of the later tracks have no keys, and then there's one track, I think it was the closer of side A, Thy Winter Night Torment, was more sort of dungeon synthy kind of piece, yeah, I mean, that was obviously using the keys. So, but then yeah, you flip the side over and you start getting things that sound like, Emperor's Ancient Queen from the Wrath of the Tyrant demo. So, all that early 90s Norwegian black metal, that's definitely the influence here, and a bit of Austrian as well. So yeah, this was really good. This is one of those ones I knew nothing about. I'm in many Facebook groups about metal buying in Australia, places I can people import stuff. They often sell only in Facebook. I've mentioned some labels, but one guy got in 3 copies of this thing. I saw the cover and went, "What the hell is that?" He put a link to some samples. I thought, man, that sounds really good. Sure, why not? Price was right, and I was very happy to get it. Took a bit of a chance on a relatively unknown thing for me, Pagan Moon. Relatively unknown for a lot of people, I would imagine, being that this is a collection of demos. No full lengths, no official EPs. He actually goes to the point of saying inside, take a look, different logo there. I like that logo. Some stuff there. It says on this side, no live shows, no studio records. So I'm not too sure what he means with that. Does it mean we're not going to get a full-length album? Or does it mean he just writes and records at home away from his studio? I kind of imagine it's going to be almost like a paysage de verre. We're just going to get years and years of demos that will get released as if they were albums. That might be the case. Either way, I'm really hopeful that we get more material from Pagan Moon, because this is really, really good stuff. Nothing too exciting to show in here, just a black LP, and it is out on, did I take that note of that? Ritualist Records, I think is what it was. Ritual Abuse Records. Damn it, I can't even read the thing. So yeah, Ritual Abuse Records. So there you go, Pagan Moon, anti-Mormon propaganda. If you like your necro black metal, I think you're going to like this one. So yeah, hunt it down, give it a good listen. That is the update. That's 10 records, half death and half black. It's just sort of how that worked out. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, please, first leave some comments. Let me know what you thought of these. Have you picked any up? Let me know some of the other stuff you've picked up in the last couple of months. Once you've done that, make sure you subscribe. Check out this thing. Check out that thing. I'll see you next time.